Audio Jungle. 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 Audio Jungle.
So this is Revelation. The book has been opened. We're in the season finale, the final session of the book, as we really and truly hope to keep the book open. I want to put some focus as we get into chapter 21 and 22 about heaven and what will be life and what we'll call the eternal state, what is going to be the final things that are there. Heaven is our future forever. You know, life on earth, I always tell people this, life on earth is just a vacation. You can be here for 20 years, 50 years, 40 years, 70 years, 75 years, and whatever. But when your life on earth is finished, then the real life begins. Everybody on their job at some point in time goes on vacation. And if while you're on vacation, you feel you are having your real life, when vacation finished, then the real job starts. So eternity is going to be forever. And I got news for you, we're going to be spending a lot of time there. Lot of time there. Let me show you some Old Testament scripture verses, which is in the beginning of your handout on chapter 21. In Isaiah chapter 65, verse 17, it says, For behold, I create new heaven and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to mind. Isaiah 66:22 declares, For as the new heaven and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. So here is the thing, if we serve God and we follow God, He promised not only to create a new heaven and a new earth, but that your name will remain. The name will remain. So Sister Magno's name will remain. Remain. And then where we going to tonight, Revelation 21, it says, I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth are passed away. Everybody say passed away. And there be no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice from heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and He shall dwell with them, and they shall be His people, and God Himself shall be with them and be their God. So we shall be like Him. In other words, that when you look at the resurrected Christ, all of the features of the resurrected Christ, we will be resurrected in the same, and we will be able to behold His glory. Behold His glory. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 9, it declares, For it is written, eyes have not seen nor ears heard, neither has it entered into the hearts of men the thing which God had prepared for them that love him. What's your criteria? But guys are beginning, you know, one of Pastor Mark's favorite word in the Bible is what? Or but God, should I say? 2 words. Because when you have but God, it means he comes and he does something different. But God has revealed them unto us by his Spirit, for the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. And these couple of sessions have been deep. I hope so. The one thing is, if I train you to study and swim in the deep, swimming in the shallow shouldn't be a problem. Alright? So these areas are deep, and God through his Spirit has caused us to understand the deep things of God. Yes, he gives individuals who will have the giftings, and I can use the technology and all of the funding that I've gone in to be able to have software and air condition and sound system and multimedia capability. But let me tell you, all of that is powerless unless coupled with that is the anointing of the Holy Spirit. Alright? He's the one that opens it up for us. Then 1 Corinthians 13:12 says, for now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. For now we know in part, but then we shall know even as I am known. So even with all of revealed scripture, we still know partial. I could try my best to give you the best visualization with animation and VR technology and computer software that is there, and still it is only in part. It is still only in part. And in Romans 4 and verse 1 it says, you know, a door is open and he says, come up hither to see what's going to take place hereafter. So here's what I want to just lay as a foundation before we get into 21 and 22. Earth and heaven are connected. As a matter of fact, I am of the view, because if we see through earth darkly, earth is the photocopy, heaven is the original. So he built, and that's why God created the heaven and the earth. He built heaven and then built a photocopy, or a small model of what heaven is like on earth. So if we are citizens of earth, we have certain proofs that tells us that heaven is real. And one of those reasons that we can look at the copy and know that it's an original. If I go to the bank and I ask for a loan, and they give me a check that is a certified authorized check with the signature, all the logos and so on like that, and then they go and they make a photocopy of it, I can run up and down the tongue saying that I have a check, but I have a photocopy. It is darkened, it is partial, it looks like the real thing, but they don't have the authority and the full color of the original. Earth is the photocopy. So, on earth we have mountains. In Erie we have mountains where you get red stone. Different parts of the country get white stone, yellow stone. Most of the other mountains is dirt, rocks. In heaven there are mountains of grass. Zechariah chapter 6 and verse 2. On earth we are familiar with trees and plants. In heaven there are trees of life in the midst of the garden, and their trees are going to be all around. On earth there are animals like lamb, like horse, different animals that we can mention. Revelation 19 we saw not only lamb as well, but we saw an entire army of horses. So if there's horse on earth, there's horse in heaven. That means in both worlds we horsing around. On earth there are rivers, there are streams, in other words, there are water sources. In heaven, we find that there are rivers and streams of life. Water is essential for life. As a matter of fact, all of these scientists know that in order to look for life on the next planet, what's the first thing you're looking for? Water. If they can confirm water on any planet, they have the foundation for life. Are you there with me? On earth there are cities on earth. In heaven there are heavenly cities. On earth we have buildings and homes. In heaven there are mansions and rooms. If it has one, it has the other. On earth there are gardens. In heaven there are paradise or park. On earth there are valuable stones and jewelry. If you look around, people have some hanging on their neck. People have it in their teeth. People have it on their hands, all over. Alright? In heaven there are foundation stones of value. You know, right now they're paving the building highway, they're coming down the building road and so on with asphalt and so on like that. In heaven they use gold. The thing we put around my neck and on our area, they take that to pave the road. In heaven. Okay? So what I want to drive for you is that if we have the evidence of our world, then we have the evidence of the world that is yet to come. Are you there with me? Now there are different types of heaven, and I need to lay this down before we get into it. 2 Corinthians 12 and verse 2 says, I knew a man in Christ about 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell, because he's in the supernatural world traveling. Such a one was caught up to the third heaven. How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words which is not lawful for man to utter. If there is a third heaven, I'm of the view that there must be a first and a second heaven. There is a third heaven. Alright? Over 90% of the world's greatest astronomers believe that there is a God. These are people that study the stars, the planets. The more they study the galaxy, the more they look at different things in the universe, or the starry world. They are more and more they look at the handiworks of God that get them saved. Bible declares what? Creation itself testifies that there is a God. Okay? Most modern researchers found that the people of the East, which is the Hebrews, the Jews, the Arabs, all believe or speak of three heavens. Three heavens. Heaven in the original means a visible arch where cloud move. It means the sky from earth. The place of elevation is the place where of power of happiness, celestial beings exist, or the firmament gulf. This was the idea of heaven in the minds of most Jewish culture and people group. Most Jewish culture and people group. Astronomers are of the view that 29 miles above the surface of planet Earth is what is called the atmospheric heaven, or the first heaven. It is the area of our ozone layer, it's the area between the sky to planet Earth, it's the area of the clouds where airplanes operate, is everything within the oxygen realm or where gravity operates. That is called the first heaven, or what is called the atmospheric heaven. And their calculation lands at 29 miles above the surface of the earth. And then we're talking at ground level, not mountain level. Leading scientists and astronomers are of the view that everything in the area of the sun, moon, and stars and the planet makes up the second heaven. In scripture and in Jewish culture, it is called the starry heaven, or the second heaven. So you'll see, for example, in Deuteronomy 17 and verse 3, don't go and worship the sun, the moon, and the star, or the hosts of heaven. That is speaking there of the starry, or the second heaven. Matthew 24:29, immediately after the tribulation, is what we looked at in Revelation 19 and 20 there about. In those days, the sun shall be darkened, moon shall not give a light, and the star shall fall from where? Heaven. Alright? And the very powers of heaven shall be shaken. That is, again, it tells you which heaven is the one that has the sun, the moon, and the stars. Tells you which one. In the rapture, when Christ is going to come for us, he moved from the third heaven to the entrance between the first and the second heaven. You know why? Man knows about the first heaven. We can basically travel from the first heaven to the second heaven, but we don't know how to get to the third. So really what he does is that he meets us halfway. Are you there with me? That's why he comes in the area of the cloud, at the entrance between the first and second heaven. So there is a big research that has been going on. Where then is the third heaven? As astronomers examine the entire universe, they have looked at the whole universe, and it's an entire cocoon of stars all around, all at the bottom that is here. So when they look at the western side, the eastern side, the whole base is all full of stars. However, when they look at the north, it's the only place that is empty, and there is only one star that is there that is called the North Star. So if you take a shot from the bottom, this is the entire starry world, and then you have one star. That is the North Star. There is an entire empty place that they call the Northern Door. So the third heaven, it is the abode of God, the place of the throne and the host of all angels. Jews call this the upper heaven, or the heaven of heavens. Look at these verses of scripture. Deuteronomy 10 and verse 14. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heaven is the Lord thy God. So yes, there is heaven, but there is also what is called the heaven of heavens. Are you there with me? 1 Kings 8 and verse 27, Solomon builds a temple, he's dedicated it to the Lord, and this is his prayer. Part of it, he says, but will God indeed dwell on earth? Behold, heaven, the heaven, and the heaven of heavens cannot contain thee. So even in Solomon's prayer, his level of wisdom, he understands that there was something called the heaven of heavens. Are you there with me? Psalms 148 verse 4, praise him, ye heaven of heavens, and ye waters which are above the heavens. Remember waters again? Yes, it's literal water, but it's also talking of multitude of people. Because literal water don't worship. You'll notice that waters here is worshiping. So praise Him. He waters above the heavens. Are you there with me? And then 2 Corinthians says where Paul is taken and he says that I travel to the third heaven. So in the Old Testament, it is called the heaven of heavens. And in the New Testament, it's called the third heaven. All following me? Okay? So, possible location of the third heaven, we have mentioned as they examined, they have identified one star in the north. And here's what the astronomer says, the Bible says so. In Job 29 verse 7 it declares, He stretched out the north over empty place. So Job in his book had the insight to know that the north was over an empty place. Scientists now catch up with that. Psalm 75 verse 6 says, For promotion come neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. Now you don't say east, west, south. In other words, then the scripture is also saying that promotion comes from the north. It's not coming from the east, it's not coming from the west, it's not coming from the south. Promotion comes from the north. The north is left out. Psalm 48 and verse 2 says, Beautiful for situation is the joy of the whole earth, is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Not only do you have north mentioned, we now find out north of sides. And more than that, the north is the city of the great king. That's Bible. I not research, that's Bible. Isaiah 14:13 declares, when he's talking about Lucifer, he says, Thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the congregation of on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Not south, not east, not west, north. So the term north occurs 131 times in 124 verses in the Bible. That is a lot of record to show the weight of what north is like. So this is the best shot with all of the present telescope technology that they've been able to send to outer space. This is the best shot from the bottom of the universe. They were able to take a shot and get a shot of what the opening looked like. Those of you on the smaller screen will see brighter. Alright? And here of course is the North Star sitting inside of there. And their best description in terms of what they can see inside of this is what they have been able to say. It says its exquisite beauty and illuminous colors are unlike anything of this earth. From the depths of the Orion Nebula appears like thorns and twisted objects and a river of massive shining glass, irregular pillars, column of blistering splendor. It appears like light shining and glowing behind clear walls of ivory and pearl, studded with millions of diamonds and shining stars. In other words, there's plenty pretty lights, plenty bling bling. That is bling bling. Its heavenly caverns are gigantic lenses, plug long exposure of photographic plates. Astronomers agree that this opening is 16 trillion miles in diameter. That's just the opening of the north. In Hebraic perspective, they have the view that indeed there are three heavens. There is the first heaven, there is the second heaven of starry space. And what we're seeing happening in the scientific world right now, people are going from planet to planet, galaxy to galaxy, so they are traveling this way. Of course, they don't have the technology to go this way, except we don't carry you directly. Or the other way is you have to leave your little suit here and leave via death. Right? That's the only other way you can get to it. But then there is a third heaven. And these are the words, these are the names that they use in their language, ties back in the Greek language, to show that there are three heavens. So this is one of their major diagrams that they use in their universities to show the levels of heaven. Now, this is important. It's one of the best things that got out of one of their ministries. Why is there such a fight for Jerusalem? Do you know that there is a temple also in the temple of God in the third heaven? So here's what. This is the underworld we talked about in chapter 20. Remember we said that they had under the grave, in the underworld, in the bowl of the earth, in the belly of the earth, they had Abraham's bosom and hell. And God emptied Abraham's bosom at Christ's death, burial, and resurrection when he led captivity captive. Then in Revelation 20, after white throne judgment, he will now empty the second half. Right? So this is under the earth, this is the windows of heaven here. This is the second heaven, this is the third heaven. On the mountain in Jerusalem, where the original temple set up, it is in direct alignment to the temple that is in heaven. In other words then, Temple Mount in Jerusalem is the other side of the mirror. That is why there is such a fight in the Middle East, not only for Israel but for Temple Mount. Because whosoever controls here gets direct access. That's why there is such a fight for this. Alright? Remember when God told Moses, he said, go and build it according to the pattern I have shown you in the mount. Well, this is the pattern. So we're going to begin and we'll be able to see some of that tonight as we get into this other chapter. Now, I want to take a few minutes and I may show you a little video clip on this too, because I think there is something supernatural that is happening. And what is taking place is that more and more people are getting the opportunity either through a near-death experience or being transported live and direct to see heaven. The phenomena is so great that the movie world, like in Hollywood and so on, are now producing films to counterattack it. So there are now films coming out called Resurrection. There's a new one coming out called the Lazarus Effect, where people died and come back to life. There are shows now on television that they are teaching what is called the Lazarus Pit, which is a pit that is recorded in the Quran that you can actually go and bathe in and come back to life. Alright? So there's a lot of stuff that is happening because there's an uplift in terms of what's happening in the supernatural world with regards to resurrection. So there are people that have died for a few minutes. The longest we have had is a gentleman that was dead for 3 days that Rena Bonke raised back from the dead, a pastor. And he was able to share his testimony. People are billing films. There is a lot of films that are done. People like Jesse Duplantis, the Lord transported him directly for 5 hours into heaven to take record of what is taking place. Here is the interesting thing. The scientific world did an entire research that is called the Lazarus phenomenon. They have built it on the 2 stories in the Bible of Lazarus. Lazarus and the rich man, and the Lazarus that Jesus raised from the dead. And they have crossed all cultures and all religion because they started the research saying that it is because of your upbringing and because of what you learn as a child and because they tell you about heaven and they tell you about hell and they tell you about angel, because you had that in your subconscious when you die, that's what you see. So that's what they teach them. That's what they tell them. Here's what is happening. When they start to do the research, people who died in the Christian world, the Hindu world, the Islamic world, the Buddhist world, the Nurian world, the Rastafarian world, the marijuana world, wherever they call it. Alright? When they die, they are not bouncing up Ram or Krishna or the marijuana man or Jah or whatever the case happening. They are all bouncing up things that are within the Christian faith. In other words, then, no matter if they are Hindu or not, or if they are rum drinker or not, or whatever, they are bouncing up angels, they are bouncing up God, they are bouncing up hell, they are bouncing up things within the Christian philosophy, Christian teaching. And they have now concluded that the people within the Christian world seems to have such an influence that they cannot understand. If you are trained all your days in a particular religion, how come you're not bouncing that up after you die? You understand what's going on? So it's a power. There's a guy who is a Buddhist monk that died and he saw the sea of fire that people were burning and the Lord sent him back. And when the Lord sent him back, he came back and said, the Christians have it right. I have seen my own monks here die. And do you know the government in that country banned his testimony because of the conversions that were happening? So it is phenomenal in terms of what is taking place when God is, or people are being visited supernaturally to be able to bring in an end time harvest. So let me show you some of the things that are coming out. In Hebrews 12 and verse 22, it declares, for ye have come unto Mount Zion, unto the city of the living God, a heavenly Jerusalem, and a what? Innumerable company of angels. Alright, now I want, just here's a quick key for you to remember. Every time in your Bible, particularly if you have the original King James, you see the word Zion spelled with a Z, it is always the earthly Jerusalem. If you see Zion spelled with a S, it's always the heavenly Jerusalem. So you'll see in this verse, which is in the New Testament, Zion spelled with a S, heavenly Jerusalem. So when you're reading, you're going to see Zion, and you need to pick up which one they are referring to. So that's a quick key when you're doing your basic Bible reading to be able to understand and see what is actually taking place. So here's my point. Let's just weigh the evidence. I'm going to show you some of what's happening now before I take you into further scripture. of what people are coming and being able to bring forward. Pictures of those that visited heaven. Here is somebody that went to heaven, and this is what the home of a saint that they were led to, which was their home that was there in heaven. And they were greeted with people that were playing music. Music is a big thing in heaven, worship is a big thing in heaven. And one of the critical instruments there is the harp. They were playing harp. When you have the harp playing, you're sure something happening with the harp. From any part of heaven, here's what they have said, all of them. Any part of heaven you go to, you will always see the city of the great king. It is high and lifted up, no matter where you are. I can reach Sipari, but I can't see Port of Spain. I can't see San Fernando Hill from here. And I climb the next hill to see it. But in heaven, no matter where you are, the city of the great king is high and lifted up. And I thought, these are the streets of gold. That is what you call tiles. Like tiles. Tiles can't match that. Again, last year I think I said this, we need to really work for Jesus. But let me tell you, if you had to get saved on the sick bed or whatever, let's reach people. And if it is, you have to end up on that tree in heaven. It's far better than any part of hell. Alright? So, again, there are animals, that's why there are animals on earth that is here. And somebody saw this and God gave them the ability to draw this back on. They didn't go with a camera and you have to take this out and bring it back. They had to memorize it and try their best as what they have been able to see to draw this. And this is possibly one of the best recent pictures that actually came out with somebody being able to view and see what's happening in heaven. And again, you can see the city high and lifted up. And here is where you're watching from the outside of the city, or looking at the city, and here is where you're watching from within. So this is the city on the outside, these are the 12 foundation walls, the pearls, and this is the whole, from the levels, looking now out at the land that we just saw here. Alright? So here is where you're looking now from inside, looking out. Alright? So, look for Jesus. We have a lot to go. We have a big drama coming up next week and so there. So we go out there, listen. We have to teach again. We have to consider if they call me name or they call me name. So look for Jesus. Okay? So you can see an entire thing that is set up. Here is again a name, Saints Home. When we work for the Lord, inside and outside, this is the outside look. I don't know what the designs are. It's the outside look, and this is the inside look of all the finishings and so on like that. And I always tell believers this. Whenever you're in your little prayer time and say, you must ask the Lord what you want in heaven. How much rooms you want? If you want back room, you want a country house, you want you want a stream passing through it, and so on. Ask, but say ask and you shall receive. Ask. So yes, he knows your heart, but he also want to hear you. Alright? Ask what you want. One of the pastors in South Korea that died and came back and he produced a film called Heaven 1001. He said that soul winners are the biggest rooms in heaven. He said that soul winners are the biggest room in heaven. And he tried to reproduce this one. He said this was actually John Wesley's home. And John Wesley used to ride on the back of a horse and preach over 100 times a day in England. And he had converted the whole of England for the Christian world, winning people for Christ. And that's why the whole Wesleyan holiness movement came out of his ministry. He spent his entire days winning people. So then that win souls get the biggest. I don't get 1% for teaching end times. Alright? There is a saint that they didn't want a swimming pool. They wanted a stream running through their home. So they have the stream here, going straight through the home. Alright? That is what they were able to see. When you get into the city, the highest thing you can see anywhere in the city. This is how I intend to get on. I hope all of you join me. That's Saint reach home to heaven. Alright? The first thing I'm going to shout is, wow, make it! Make it! Make it. Sometimes when we look at our own hearts, it frightens us. Alright? Here, someone was able to see a little girl that was worshipping before, because she died at a very young age, and she was worshipping the Lord in heaven. This girl was 4 years old, and she was transported to heaven. She was able to come back, and God gave her the ability to paint at age 4. She painted this. She said this guy greeted her when she went to heaven, and CNN actually picked up the the image of what she painted. She was able to mix color. I have a 4-year-old and she don't color, she scratch. Scratch. So she also painted this. It's one of the most famous paintings that she had actually painted, which was actually at home again, and she was able to mix colors. 4-year-old girl. One of the things that baffled the scientists was when a person born blind, died, went to heaven and came back, and was able to say what they see. You're born blind, you can't make it up. And when they came up, they were able to describe things in details, and it blew the entire scientific world apart. In my father's house, many mansions. She painted this guy, also worshipping before the Lord. She says this is how Jesus will greet children if they die early and they come to heaven. One thing we need to remember also when we get to heaven, we will not only have buildings in our century, we'll have buildings in every century across every culture. So in the 12th century, people didn't like tiles and PVC ceiling. 12th century. They will have things, and as you walk through heaven, you will actually get a photograph of cultures from every block of time, but then also inside of every time. For example, people within the African continent will be totally different from the Chinese world, or people in the South American zone. Their culture and their thing, what they will like, will be different. It gives you what you like. Okay? This gentleman, Thomas Edison, when he was dying, at the point when he's dying, he says he could see the entire of the supernatural world open up, and as he's dying, he said, it is very beautiful over here. It's very beautiful over here. So living is death, but dying is life. On this side of the grave, we are exiles, but on that side, we are citizens. On this side, we are orphans, on that side, we are children. On this side, we are captives. On that side, we are freemen. On this side, we are disgusted, we are unknown. Nobody may not really know you. But on that side, we will be proclaimed the sons and daughters of the living God. Are you there with me? A couple years ago, a little boy died and also went to heaven. And he came back with a statement. He says, heaven is not a place of eternal rest. It's a place of eternal life. You will say rest in peace? Rest is start. I will walk well start. Okay? So when he died, he went to heaven, and they built a movie on his life. They was recording all of the different networks. In April of 2014, it came out called Heaven is for Real. And really, really powerful testimony of really what actually came to pass. True Thomas, she's part of a Yonggi Cho Church in South Korea, and she was transported to heaven over a period of 2 years, and she did a book called Heaven is So Real. You can possibly access her, just pull up True Thomas interview on YouTube, and you'll be able to hear her testimony too as well, in terms of what's taking place. Home is a place for children. Children who for some reason or the other their life have been short-circuited while here on earth. There's all these children, they wait. Bible says that the kingdom of heaven is such like these. Alright? So there's lots and lots of children that are there. Upon dying, the first person that you will see will be the angel that was assigned to you at the point in time of your birth. When you are dying, let me tell you how quickly how you know that you are the point of dying. If ever anything happens to you, you know that you're dying. As the supernatural world opens, the first being you will see is the guardian angel over your life. They are responsible to escort you to heaven. That's their job. They are assigned to you at the point of conception, and they stay with you until the point of death. If you are in Christ, well, they carry you to glory. If you are not in Christ, well, they drop you halfway. Alright? So, over and over, you'll hear people in scripture talk about they are raised from sleep. They are raised out of their body. They are lifted up. Alright? So they'll come and they'll actually lift you out of. One of the best description of death somebody mentioned, he said, they says, because they went through a similar experience, they said death is like changing your clothes. You put off the old man, you put on a new man. Alright? Changing your clothes. So don't get frightened. If you're in Christ, you're supposed to get frightened.
Chapter 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying,
Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them, and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
And he that sat upon the throne said,
Behold, I make all things new.
and he said unto me,
Write, for these words are true and faithful.
and he said unto me,
It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
And there came unto me one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying,
Come hither. I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife.
And he carried me away in the Spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God. And her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth foursquare, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is, of the angel. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third a chalcedony, the fourth an emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth a topaz, the 10th a chrysoprasus, the 11th a jacinth, the 12th an amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of 1 pearl. And the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination, or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life.
Chapter 21 and 22 are the descriptions of the eternal state following the millennium period of final judgment. So understand, let's just pick back up the flow. We have run through time, we have run through the tribulation period, and then Christ comes back on the earth and he takes charge of the earth for 1,000 years. At the end of the 1,000 years period, there is a battle with fire, and then there is the great white throne judgment, where we actually saw and the underworld and so on is completely destroyed. Then he will create a new heaven and a new earth. So this that we're getting into is not the 1,000 years period. This is the one that's going to run as eternal state. 1,000 years is the kindergarten. before we get into the real action. This is the real action, all right? Centering in the New Jerusalem and the eternal habitation of the saved. The first heaven and the first earth are passed away, or in reality they are replaced by a new heaven and a new earth predicted by Isaiah. The present universe will thus be cleansed of all the effects of sin. Since there is no more sea, the increased land space will be fully capable of handling a large number of redeemed people from all over the earth. The New Jerusalem is described in verse 21, chapter 21, from 10 all the way down to 22:5. It is a holy city, totally separated from sin. It has been prepared as the habitation of the bride of Christ. Now watch this, very important. Yes, there is a creation of a new heaven and a new earth, but what is now taking place is that we who are the bride of Christ, the people in the church age, remember I tell you that there are different groups. You have Old Testament saints, you have people before the time of the law, you have the church age, you have tribulation saints, you have millennium saints. So we are married to Christ as the bride of Christ. We are heir with God, joint heir with Christ. And then you have these other groups that will be invited to the wedding. Our headquarters is this. So yes, we have thrones on earth during the millennium time where we'll be sitting with Abraham and Isaac judging the 12 tribes of the nation and so on. So we have our operation on earth. Remember, man is earthly. We never lost heaven. Huh? We lost earth. When Adam said he lost earth. So earth is restored, but we get a bonus, which is heaven. That bonus is the city. This city is our headquarters. So we have a headquarters to be able to operate from too as well. And notice it comes from heaven to earth. Alright? So, from God shows his divine purpose, and out of heaven is his divine origin. The tabernacle of God, the presence of God will be with his people, and he will forever dwell with them. A primary purpose of redemption will be accomplished, the complete fellowship of God with his redeemed people. In the eternal state, there will be no tears, no death, no sorrow, no crying or pain. Let me also say this too as well, become a resurrected body, we will have no toilets. In the eternal state, everything will become new. Behold, I make all things new. Are you there with me? God promises are true, and he will always remain faithful to his word. Now, one of the things that you'll also see, apart from all of the things that are no more, is that you will also see that there are certain exclusions. There is a couple of reminders that will be placed in the new heaven and the new earth to ensure that humanity or no other being will go back along the pathway of sin. Number one, Christ will bear the mark of sins on his body. We will see the wounded hand, the sides pierced, and his feet. The second thing is that this will remain forever. Now, watch me. If something is happening in time, there change. You have past, present, and future, so in time things can change. But in eternity, there doesn't change. So how you enter eternity, you remain. Therefore, in eternity, because you don't have time, it is locked. So it cannot change. Satan sinned before the creation of time in eternity. So his penalty is eternal. Man sinned when you had time. So because man sinned in time, he can be redeemed in time, because in time things can change. You all follow me? Alright? The lake of fire, the second death, is locked into eternity. Because it is locked into eternity, you can burn and burn and burn continually but never burn out. Because you need time for there to be change. But because there is no time, it can't change. So it's locked. You all understand? In chapter 22, I'll actually show you a supporting verse of that. So, for all eternity, yes, we'll be able to travel the beauties of the new heaven and the new earth, but this will remain. But the fearful, the ungodly, the abominable, and all of them will remain in the lake of fire as a continual remembrance for all of eternity, that never again, no being in heaven or earth will ever go down the sin path. Because remember, you still have free will, eh? Still have free will. So God puts in place a reminder to ensure that it don't ever happen again. Are you there with me? Alright? Then you will notice in verses 6, it is done. We saw its three statement on the cross, you hear it is finished. Then when we had the last bowl being poured out of from the wrath of God, you heard it is done. And then here again we have the declaration that is made, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega. That means I am eternity past, come all the way into time, and I go straight to eternity future. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. And if anyone at us, let him come and get access to the fountain of life. The eternal purpose of God to gather a holy, devoted people to himself has now been accomplished. Alpha and Omega, beginning and end, show that he is the origin of it, but he's also the source of all things. End means that his goal has been accomplished. He's been able to bring all things into end. The river of water represents eternal sustenance and provision, available freely by faith. He that overcometh is the one that has genuine, saving, persevering faith. He will inherit all things to him that is a son of God. But sinners who have shown their rebellion against God in their lifestyle of sin have already had their parts in the lake of fire, which is the second death. So a lot of people has asked the question about how, if you're thrown into there, how can it be eternal, it will be annihilated? This blows the theory of annihilation out, because the concept of the lake of fire is happening in eternity when there is no time. When there is no time. Then there is heavenly beauties. Right? Heavenly beauties, picking it up from verses 9, where we actually started to see. He takes him now and begins to show him the bride. So here you see he's carried up, and he says, I will show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. So this is unique only to the people that believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and are saved by him. That is the bride of Christ. That is the group. That is what. So we get a bonus on top of all that is taking place. We get a bonus. Right, so he's carrying, and this is the Lamb's wife. So you have clear-cut evidence with regards to what this New Jerusalem is like. These verses describe the beauty of the glory of the New Jerusalem. It is called Christ's bride. A reference perhaps to the church as the city principal inhabitants. It is an expression of the glory of God. The wall shows its security and protection. The gate shows accessibility. Saved Israel is also present. The dimension of it, you will notice here that there is a declaration in terms of the size of it, being 12,000 furlongs. That's an old calculation, which actually means 1,500 miles. So it's 1,500 miles at the base across, 1,500 miles wide, length, and also 1,500 miles high in terms of the size of this particular city that is here. And then it goes through into a whole set of gems and descriptions of the different types of material. Yeah, some material I didn't even know. I know what gold and diamond, I didn't realize there's so much. And a lot of this shows a lot of bright colors, greenish colors, reddish colors, all of these colors, and there's a breakdown in the handout that you'll be able to see all of the different meanings of the colors in terms of, so let me tell you, this thing plenty bling bling. Pretty. Alright? There is no temple in the city, since both the Father and the Son will be present in their fullest manifestation. Its light will be provided by the Shekinah glory of God and Christ. So the very Shekinah glory that was in the Ark of the Covenant in the Old Testament will now be live and direct here. The glory of God in New Jerusalem will light the earth. Whether it is new earth or the millennium earth is not clear, and half of the view is actually the future one. Perhaps New Jerusalem will give light to the entire earth during the millennium state as a starlight city. And it seems to be that concept when you see how it will actually float over the earth, and I'll show you an animation on that just now. The glory of God in New Jerusalem will light up earth. The nations, ruled by various kings and levels of earthly authority, will honor the heavenly city and the dwelling of God's place, and cause them that are saved to be founded neither in the oldest nor in the majority of manuscripts, but clearly expresses in the sense of the passage. The open gate shows the security measure will no longer be necessary. How many of you all work in security companies? Anybody here? Good. Let me tell you something. In the new heaven and in the new earth, that is one job will not be needed. There will be no security guard. Yes, it have gates, but the gates are open all the time so that anybody can come in and go out. So if a lot of us may continue our career in the new heaven and the new earth, that is one you need to change career. There will be no security guards needed in the heaven. Days continue since night will never come. Only redeemed and the glorified people will have access to the dwelling of the New Jerusalem, and there will be no sinful thing that will ever come in to defile this city. Are you there with me? So anything that seems to be will never enter in the city, because again, it is designed for the purpose of the presence and the glory of God.